Behold, Galvatron.
Hello everyone, this is Mike Jenkins from Mike Jenkins Reviews, and today I have Legacy Galvatron. I wasn't planning on buying this action figure, but recently I redid my Transformers display and did some consolidation, did some clean outs, and I'm actually preparing for a toy show. There's a Tampa Toy and Comics Expo coming up June 8th. And I had some inventory to set up. And so some of the Transformers that I needed to purge out are in that inventory. And I just had to update my collection and get the display right. And in doing so, I noticed I had a couple of Megatrons, a couple of Optimus Primes. I've got Rodimus Prime, he's still boxed. But I don't have a Galvatron. My G1 collection has an Optimus, a Rodimus, Ultra Magnus, Megatron, Galvatron. But my Chug collection is totally absent of a Galvatron. So I do have a couple of Megatrons, particularly from the original Classics wave. I think that was back in 2006 or so when all of this started. He's the Nerf gun. And then later on, when they did a good mold of Megatron as a tank, I have two versions of that figure. And then I have a Hot Rod, I have a Rodimus Prime, I have an Optimus Prime, but I don't have a Galvatron. So my Decepticon display, has a Megatron, a Shockwave. It's got good representation, and I'll show pictures of that. But I do not have a Galvatron. I even have Scorponok. So as far as the line of Decepticon leaders, at least from the G1 cartoon series, it started with Megatron, at least in the cartoon series, and then it went to Galvatron, and then it kind of sort of went to Scorponok, even though in the US it ended. But in the Japanese series, Scorponok did essentially take control of the Decepticons upon Galvatron's demise. Spoiler alert. But the whole point here is I have a Galvatron, and here he is in his box. I finally procured one on Amazon, thank goodness. And I'm going to be going through, opening the box, taking the figure out, transforming him, and putting him on display. A lot of fans, there's a debate on who Galvatron is, his identity. The IDW comics have gone on to separate Galvatron out into a separate character, and so at least that's my understanding, and that's part of. There are many things happening, or that happened with the IDW comics, that went against my take on what the mythos is. And as fans, we all have our takes and our headcanons, and IDW Comics personally just didn't do it for me. I am thankful of what IDW Comics and the Bayverse did to continue the brand, but as far as how characters were interpreted, as far as how the lore was interpreted, I had some issues with both of those. And so with Galvatron, he's Megatron. It's spelled right out in the 1986 film. Megatron is reformatted into a more powerful Galvatron, and for lack of a better term, he is slave circuited to Unicron. And my belief is, upon Unicron's destruction or defeat, it really screwed up Megatron or Galvatron mentally, because that slave circuit was broken, and it just totally screwed him up in the noggin. And of course, being thrown into the plasma baths on Thral, fried some head circuitry, and that led to a lot of Galvatron's erratic behavior. In my head canon, Galvatron eventually is upgraded into a newer form of Megatron. As depicted in the toy series, he becomes an action master Megatron because of the nucleon energon that the Transformers were consuming, that mutated them into their action master forms. I believe that Galvatron evolved back into Megatron. The nucleon energy actually cured him, and he became Megatron again, and everything went from there. That's where we got our tank form for Megatron. But I digress. Galvatron was a favorite character of mine as a kid. I was always fascinated with the transformation from Megatron into Galvatron, and just the dynamic and the dichotomy of what is going on in Galvatron's head. He remembers who he was, and he remembers his relationship with characters like Optimus Prime.
Come on, Optimus, tell me. Why do you want this metal? How will it be used? Why is it so precious?
I've explained it to you.
You told me it was important, but you didn't tell me why.
That's because I know you too well, Galvatron.
In the days of Megatron, it was not like this.
You mean Galvatron?
Hail Galvatron! Hail Galvatron! Hail Galvatron! Well, they were the same guy.
It was just an interesting evolution for the character for me. And, I was able to, as an adult, get the G1 toy. And then later on, I was able to also get a repainted Takara purple version of the figure. So I have both of those in my collection, thankfully. So this would actually be the third Galvatron figure overall in my Transformers collection, but it's the first figure in the Chug collection. So, for me, it's, I believe, the second Galvatron figure in the line. I know this mold has been used a couple of times, but the previous version of Galvatron in the Chug line, I would say, in my opinion, is inferior to this figure. And from what I'm hearing, we're also going to be getting a Studio Series 1986 Galvatron based on his movie depiction. And I'll be interested in seeing that. It's supposed to be sometime in 2025. But I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to get a Galvatron figure for my display here. And let me do a rotation of the box before I open it, because since I am at a point in my collection where I'm running out of room on my shelves, and I have to start taking my figures out of the boxes to help make more room. So this box is going bye-bye. So I'm just going to use this video as, let's say, a representation or a recording of the packaging that my Galvatron Chug figure came in, Legacy Chug. So here we've got the side of the box that shows off Galvatron in his canon form. There actually, from what I'm finding, is no specific term for the weapon. It's essentially cannon wheels, or artillery is the term that I found. It's basically a mount that the cannon itself would be attached to make the cannon portable and posable. So, but the design, Floro Dury designed Galvatron in his alt mode for the 86 animated film, and the design for Galvatron for the cartoon or for the animated film was used to create his toy. So this is the Transformers 86 animated film is the first instance in the cartoon series that the characters were designed for the cartoon series first, and then the cartoon designs were used to design the toys. Most, if not all, of the Transformers that came before that came from the Takara, or from the Japanese toy lines Diaclone and Microman. And so they were repurposed, and the cartoon designs were created from the toys. In some cases, the character designs were extreme departure from the toys because the toys were quite odd. And Ironhide and Ratchet are two of those cases. But back to Galvatron here. Galvatron is a cannon, which is an appropriate upgrade from the handgun that he was as Megatron. The alt mode for Galvatron is based on, for example, weapons that were used during the Civil War and here in the United States, where the cannon itself was mounted on a wheeled platform. So it's quite a neat design based on a device or weapon that actually existed. So let's go to the back of the box, and we're shown some details of the figure, both alt modes for the figure. Interestingly enough, I suspect, I haven't done it yet, and I actually haven't looked at too many review videos for Legacy Galvatron on YouTube, but I suspect, I believe, you can unofficially transform this figure into an unofficial third mode. The original Galvatron figure from G1 had the ability to transform into a handgun, similar to his previous identity of Megatron. Megatron was based on a Walther P-38. Galvatron evolved into a wheeled cannon. And so officially he went from robot to wheeled cannon and back, but then there was a third unofficial mode. It was never used in fiction. Galvatron never transformed into his handgun mode in any fiction from my understanding, but Galvatron did have a third mode. He was technically a triple changer and was able to transform into a handgun. He also comes with a matrix, which is based on events that occurred in the 86 animated film, where he took the matrix from Ultra Magnus, and then Hot Rod took the matrix from Galvatron. And let's rotate to the other side. And then the other side just features, I believe it's other figures from that particular wave in Legacy. I'm not quite certain of that. I am fresh to getting back into collecting Transformers. I did take a break and I focused on a little bit of Thundercats and a lot of Masters of the Universe and a little bit of Superpowers Classics, as I call it. So I'm still catching up to some of the things going on with the Transformers toy line as of now. And so now we're back to the front. You know, we have the Transformer Legacy logo on the top of the box, and we just have some details, trademark stuff on the bottom of the box. And now we're gonna go to opening the box. All right, so let's open this up. Got my trusty knife here. And we're gonna, let me slice away from myself so I don't end up going to the ER. All right. One. You act like I've never opened a freaking box before, but for whatever reason, I'm trying to be careful. It's suspenseful. All right. There he be. Got the packet inserts and whatnot. Got some nice convoluted instructions. Great. So here's a close-up. Decepticon leader tied into the innards of the box. Interestingly, there's been plenty of reviews for this, but it's interesting to do this personally. These gun pieces are designed and based on the ship that Unicron provides for Galvatron to menace the Autobots on the mission to destroy the Matrix. And I'm gonna just go through and take these ties off and set them up and go from there. So here is Galvatron out of the box. I am enjoying the colors on him. I am enjoying the design of the figure. I am probably not going to display him with his extra guns and the matrix that he wears around his neck. Just extra stuff that maybe at certain points I'll display him and display him with those pieces, but for the most part, I'm just gonna display him as is. I'm pretty pleased with this figure. I don't know what the Studio Series 86 version of Galvatron is going to look like, but until that happens, this Galvatron will do, and it's high time that I got another Galvatron in the collection, along with the Megatron that I have in my collection, and Scourge and Cyclonus need to have their leader in the collection with them. So, with that being said, I'm just gonna show off some stills of Galvatron in the collection, and there will be more videos to come. I do have some female Autobots that I need to open up. I have quite a few figures that I have in the collection that, you know, I've just had this fear of opening up, you know, taking out of the package. And I'm just at a point where I simply have no room, and I'm going to be taking more of these figures out of the package so I can make room. So if you look over here, you will see a few of those situations. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a series of these unopenings, so stay tuned. Have a great day, and ta-ta for now.